All right, class, welcome to another week in classroom technology. So this week we have a variety of different activities, but this is sort of I guess it's kind of a breather in between different units. There's a unit on, of course, one-to-one learning that we just finished with your one-to-one assignment. And by the way, if you haven't got that in yet, make sure you do get that in. I think I had some agreements with some of you that you were going to submit it a little bit later, and so we'll do that. I'll grade them when I get them in. And then, but the ones that are in so far, I will grade when I get the chance to finish those up. But anyway, this is kind of an oasis, so to speak. It's kind of a breather between units on productivity for teachers. And I thought it'd be useful for the many teachers that we have in this class to talk about some of your favorite productivity tips and to do some of these activities. And then we'll move into our interactive whiteboard unit next. So that's what's going on for this week. But there is an interactive whiteboard assignment due on the 28th of October. I know that's pretty far ahead, but it's just something you might want to be aware of if you want to take a look at that assignment. I won't introduce it yet until next week, probably. So this week, productivity for teachers. There are a few readings. Well, there's just one reading, really, textbook chapter 3. And so you'll read and pin on that. And then in addition to that pin on Pinterest, there will be a discussion on a productivity tip. So think about your own experiences with teaching and learning and what might be a technology use that really helps you save time or do things easier. And then share about this by posting a related picture and explaining how it saves you time or makes your work easier on this Padlet page. And as usual with the discussions, you want to post by Wednesday, then comment on at least 2 other students' posts by the end of the week. So here's the board right here, and it looks like we have one up already going, so that's good. So that's one thing. So remember, you have the readings, and you'll pin on those. There'll be a Pinterest pin on those and one comment for graduate students. And then there's the discussion on a productivity tip this week. And then finally, there are some Tech Talk videos that have been generously provided to us by Whitney and Brennan for this week about some of the tools that they use in their classrooms. So that's what to do this week. And now I just want to take a few minutes and talk about class or school websites and then also productivity tools for teachers, especially student information systems. So there are tons of examples out there. Here are some lists of things that you could maybe look up at some point and just kind of see. I'll open up just a few of these as examples. So this is a 3rd grade site, Ms. Trinchatella's class. And I'm not sure where she is exactly, but she has a class website here. She has important papers here, maybe newsletters and so forth. Her schedule, like special schedule for her class. A class calendar, some useful links, a little bit about her as a teacher, expectations and so forth. And there are a lot of fun things to be able to share on a class website, such as Halloween pictures that they have here. One thing to be cautious of, though, of course, and I tell this in every class, be careful posting any pictures online of your students. Make sure that you do have permission from their parents to do so. And some districts do have that, do get that from the parents, and some districts do not. So it's important to make sure you do have permission to do that from the parents. And then you'll find that some of your parents may be just fine with it, and other parents in your class might not be fine with it. So something to be aware of. Anyway, there's a possible class website. So, and here's another example, Mr. C's class blog at Noel Elementary School, and he's learning about Colonial Williamsburg. And he posts basically the things that his students do whenever they, during the class. And a blog is a great way to do this. So you can probably see a difference between a blog and a website. A blog is a chronological listing of events, and it has dates on each event that you list there. And so that might be something you would use to, to show what's going on this day in class. It's more of a time-based thing. Whereas the website that we've shown here, there's a difference, right? This is something that's always on. It's not as updated as often. It's something that you can just place things onto if you need to, maybe special links or important papers as this teacher has done. So there's some differences there. If you want to post a lot of updated content, like maybe each week or even each day, then you'll want to use a blog. But if you want things that will stay there all the time, then a website's probably what you want. Anyway, so talking about those, well, you can have a class website, and there can be things like news and announcements for students and parents, student work, journal of the day's activities, such as the blog type of thing where you have pictures and lists of things that here's what we did in class today. You could have links to learning resources or homework. I know that a lot of teachers around use Spelling City and they want parents to be able to do that too. So they go to parents and they say, here's a link to Spelling City, and parents can go to their website and get that link as well and have their students practice spelling. There's just a lot you can do. And then of course there is more then is what lists here in page 54 of the textbook. I did think it was kind of interesting to see. I see a lot more of these lately though, even locally. So this is my son's third grade teacher, and Mrs. Brown, and this is at Simmons Elementary School here in Aberdeen, and she has Mrs. Brown's Learning Town. I love it. It has a great ring to it, right? So anyway, we have October 9th through 13th. We have this week. This is what we're going to do this week. We'll begin learning about measurement and inches, feet, and yards in math. Here are the spelling words for this week. So parents can go to this site. She shares this with parents as she starts out. Parents can go to the site and determine what they might need to do for the week or to have an update on what we're doing for the week. And this actually is a nice way to do it because she doesn't have, she has all the information right here, so you don't have to call up or get emails for different things that you might be wondering about. So that's one example. Another one is here with a team of 6th grade teachers. Now this may be a few years old now, but this is Team Baylor, Dargatz, and Nash from Holgate Elementary or Holgate Middle School. And then we have Team Schumacher, Hayline, and Anderson. So we have a bunch of different web pages for their 6th grade, and this is using Google Sites. The previous one uses Blogger, so Mrs. Brown's Learning Town. It's more of a blog thing, right? It's chronological. This one's more of a website where they have all their plan book posted, so this is what the classes do, or this is what the teacher is going to be doing. But you can also do, I guess they don't have too much more than that, do they? Yeah, but you can also find the person, kind of email the person if you want to. And there's just a lot you can do. There's not a lot, I guess, you can do on this site, but there's a lot you can do with a website in general. And then of course there's this one, and this is just Simmons Elementary School website, right? So your district and your school itself might maintain a website for the purpose of sharing about your school and about what's going on. Maybe there's a calendar, a list of staff, newsletters, lunch menus, and things like that. So a lot of good examples. But kind of the big question really is whether you want a blog or a website. And really to decide that is if you want chronological content that keeps showing up new, then you might want a blog. But if you want content that's kind of more static and that you can update it pretty often, but it's easier to update a blog in general. But if you want to have content that just kind of stays there year round and doesn't change too much, then a website's probably what you want. And these sites I recommend: Weebly, Wix, Google Sites, and Wikispaces. Probably in that order as well. That I would recommend using these for an educational site. And then blogs, if you want to do a blog, I'd probably recommend Blogger or EduBlogs. So those are some things to be concerned with websites, but I also wanted to just talk about class or productivity tools for teachers here too. So let's bring this in. And just a little bit about it. If you think about what you do to prepare for the first day of class, there are a variety of different activities you have to do, especially on maybe the elementary level. And this is something I think that's talked about in the book as well. But if you consider all the things that you have to do, such as calendars, a grade book, attendance sheet, get these set up, newsletters, worksheets, presentation, and so forth, a lot of the things that we have to do as teachers, technology can help us with these things. And so you can have a calendar online, for instance, that might save you a little bit of time so that you don't have to put it in multiple places. Or if you go home, you don't have to bring it with you. You can You can have your calendar at home just by logging on to Google Calendar or Planbook or something at home. Or the gradebook, right? A lot of times there's a gradebook can be set up with Excel or even student information systems like Infinite Campus is what we use locally here in Aberdeen. But there are a bunch of different student information systems as well. An attendance sheet, setting that up could come straight from your student information sheet or system, and you can just get that sheet automatically created. There are newspapers and flyers that you can create online or use web pages or your blog as we had shown before. For worksheets even, it's kind of interesting to think about how a worksheet tool might be able to help you, but you could go to SuperKids or a site that's similar and create a worksheet pretty quickly. That might help you as well if you need to create a new one. Presentations might have to be prepared and ready to go, and contact lists and so forth. But what I'm saying, I guess, with this is that a lot of these activities can be streamlined and made a lot quicker if you can use technology for them. So, and one of those particular technologies that we talk about sometimes is student information systems. And these are different systems, and different districts adopt different systems, so I'm not necessarily targeting a single one here. But just the idea that student information systems can save time with you reporting attendance, reporting grades, sending progress updates, knowing demographics of your students, and reporting behaviors. And they also include a parent portal in which parents can log on and see grades and so forth. What I have seen, though, from a lot of student information systems that are out there is that they, at least Infinite Campus, I think that the 1980s called and they want their interface back. I think that it's pretty old. They need to update. They need to make it look like a new, sleek kind of a system, and more user-friendly, a way that works better with teachers, where you can quickly get in, do what you want, and be done with it. But apparently that's not the case now. So if you look at this example of a student information system, you have this is Infinite Campus, and I do feel like it is old. It needs an update. It needs to be more fluid, more easy to use, and more quick. But anyway, this has things like comments, scores, grading, a lot of things. There are student information systems, though, that can go on your phone, right? That you can do a lot of work with your phone and just kind of update those things. And this is why I'm talking about this, is because I think they need to work better with phones, with mobile devices as well, and just make it easy to work on things. Think, if for those of you who've used Class Dojo, think Class Dojo combined with this. Class Dojo is so easy. Just tap on your student, you tap the behavior, and you're done. And that's the way it kind of should be with any kind of behavior reporting within a student information system, plus any kind of grading. I mean, it should be pretty simple and easy. So anyway, that's just a little bit about productivity, but hopefully the things that you share in the discussion for this week will be useful for other teachers too, if they haven't heard maybe about a tool or an opportunity to use something that they haven't used before. It could be helpful for them to improve productivity in the workplace. So good luck this week, and have a great one.